Long time ago, in the bustling city of Lagos, Nigeria, where the traffic was thicker than ogbono soup and the noise louder than a town crier with a megaphone, there lived a man named Adebayo. This man had the remarkable ability to blame everything on someone else. If he trained on his freshly washed clothes, it was his neighbor's fault. If he stumbles on a stone, it's his mother's fault. And when his pregnant wife was about to give birth, well, you can guess whose fault that was going to be. Mark my words, peace, Adeboye said to his wife. This child will bring nothing but trouble to our house. I can feel it in my bones. Peace just shook her head and continued knitting tiny baby clothes. Adebayo, you said the same thing when your mother came to visit, and all she did was eat your food and reorganize your wardrobe. That's different, Adebayo protested. My mother at least brought palm oil. But fate, as they say, has a sense of humor, probably a twisted one. Just 3 weeks before the baby was due, Adebayo strutted into the house with his chest puffed out like a peacock, ready to announce his latest achievements at the textile factory. But instead of good news, he opened the letter and found a termination letter. What is this? He screamed. They're firing me! Me and me! The man that has been folding clothes for the past 8 years. Peace tried to comfort him. Don't worry, my husband. You are the best fabric folder in all of Lagos. You'll find another job. Best fabric folder? Adebayo laughed bitterly. They said they're replacing me with a machine. A machine! Does a machine know about delicate art of folding? Can a machine feel the texture of cotton? Can a machine appreciate subtle difference between polyester and silk? Well, Peace said thoughtfully, probably not. But can you work 24 hours without breaks or salary increases? Adebayo glared at her. Whose side are you exactly on? 3 weeks later, Peace went into labor. Adebayo paced outside the hospital veranda like a caged lion. Every time a nurse came out, he would grab her arm and ask, Is it over? Please tell me it's over. One particular patient nurse finally said, Sir, your wife is doing fine. Childbirth is a natural process. Natural? Adebayo exclaimed. There is nothing natural about this, so look at me. I'm sweating more than she is. I'm not even pushing. When baby Ella finally arrived, Adebayo took one look at his daughter and declared, See, even as a baby, she's already causing noise and disturbance. I told you she would bring trouble. Peace held her baby close and whispered, Don't mind your father, my darling. He's just upset because he thinks you are prettier than him. I heard that too, Adebayo called from the corner where he was sulking. From that day forward, Adebayo treated little Ella like she was personally responsible for every misfortune that befell their household. When electricity went out, he shouted, You see, she's been home for just 1 week and already NEPA has taken lights. When their old refrigerator finally gave up the ghost, he declared, This child is a walking bad luck charm. Even the refrigerator couldn't stand her presence. Peace rolled her eyes. Adebayo, that refrigerator was older than your grandfather's walking stick. It was ready to die even before Ella was born. Don't make excuses for her, Adebayo retorted. Peace wondered if she had married a man or a very large, very dramatic child. But Peace was a woman of extraordinary strength and patience. She single-handedly took care of Ella, working as a seamstress during the day and as a food vendor in the evenings. Her hands were constantly busy. Mama, why does Papa not like me? Little Ella asked one day when she was 5 years old. Peace pulled her daughter onto her lap. My darling, sometimes grown-ups forget how to see good things in life. Your father is like a man who complains about the rain while standing in the middle of a drought. What does that mean, Mama? It means he's confused, my dear. Very, very confused. When Ella turned 6, Peace managed to enroll her in the government school near their house. The teacher, Mrs. Adora, was a kind woman who immediately fell in love with Ella's bright spirit and eagerness to learn. Meanwhile, Adebayo continued his campaign of blame. When the neighbor's dog started barking at night, he was convinced it was because the dog sensed Ella's bad luck aura. When the local market increased the price of tomatoes, he declared it was because that child's presence is affecting the economy. One day, their neighbor Mama Kemi finally had enough. Adebayo, you are talking like a man who has used his brain to play football. That child is a blessing, not a curse. You don't understand, Adebayo insisted. Ever since she was born, everything has been going wrong. Everything was going wrong before she was born. Mama Kemi shot back. You just needed someone to blame again. As Ella grew older, she proved to be not just intelligent, but remarkably kind-hearted. She always had a kind word for everybody. She respected her elders, helped the elderly ones carry their groceries, always greeted everyone with a bright smile. Her teachers often commented on her character. Ella is the type of child who would apologize to a chair if she bumped into it. Her primary school teacher, Mr. Okoro, once told Peace, "Is that a good or bad thing?" Peace asked. "In this world, it's rare, and rare things are precious." When Ella was 7, Peace managed to gather enough money to buy her a small second-hand bicycle for her birthday. Ella was so excited that she jumped up and down. "Mama, it's the most beautiful bicycle in the world," she exclaimed. Adebayo grumbled. "Beautiful? It's second-hand and the paint is peeling already. Only my daughter will be excited about a second-hand bicycle that looked like it survived a war." "At least it didn't run away when it saw you coming," Peace muttered under her breath. "What did you say?" "I said it's a wonderful day for cycling." But tragedy was lurking around the corner like a thief in the night. When Ella was 10 years old, Peace began falling ill frequently. The years of overwork, stress and worry had taken their toll on her body. She was often found collapsed over her sewing machine, exhausted beyond measure. "Mama, you need to rest," Ella said. "I can't rest, my darling. Who will take care of you if I rest?" "I can take care of myself, Mama. I'm a big girl now. I can even cook rice without burning it. Well, most of the time." Peace laughed despite her exhaustion. "Most of the time is better than your father's record of never." One evening, Peace's condition worsened. She was running a high fever and could barely lift her head from her pillow. Ella, scared and desperate, ran to her father. Papa, please, Mama is very sick. We need to take her to the hospital." Adebayo looked at her with annoyance. "Can't you see I'm eating? Your mother is just being dramatic. She will be fine by morning." But Peace wasn't fine by morning. Her fever had spiked and she was delirious. Even then, Adebayo insisted it was just woman wahala in quotes and refused to spend money on hospital bills. It was their neighbor Mama Kemi who finally took matters into her own hands and rushed Peace to the hospital. As Peace lay on the hospital bed, she called Ella to her bedside. "My precious daughter," she whispered, "always remember that you are loved beyond measure. You are my greatest achievement, my proudest accomplishment. Don't leave me, Mama. I promise I will be good. I will study hard and I will make you proud. You already made me proud every single day. Be strong, my darling. Your light will shine so bright that even the sun will be jealous." And Peace passed away a few hours later. When Peace passed away, Ella's world crumbled like a house of cards in a windstorm. But she thought her father would maybe finally show her some compassion in their shared grief. At the funeral, as mourners gathered to pay their last respects, Adebayo stood up from his chair and pointed an accusatory finger at his 10-year-old daughter. "You see this child? he announced to the shocked crowd. "She is the reason my wife is dead. From the day she was born, she has brought nothing but misfortune to our house." The crowd gasped. Elder Emma, the most respected man in their community, stood up. "Adebayo, have you lost your mind? How can you blame a child for her mother's death? That child is cursed," Adebayo insisted. "Everything bad that has happened to me started when she was born." "The only cause here is your foolishness," Mama Kemi shouted back. "You are blaming an innocent child for your own failures." But Adebayo was beyond reason. From that day forward, he treated Ella as if she didn't exist. He walked past her without acknowledgement, ate his meals while she watched hungrily, and locked the door when she was still outside playing. Ella, confused and heartbroken, would sit outside the door for hours, waiting for her father to let her in. Sometimes, kind-hearted neighbors would sneak her food, but most times she went to bed hungry. "Why doesn't Papa like me?" she asked Mama Kemi one day, tears streaming down her cheeks. Mama Kemi hugged her tightly. "Some people's hearts are like old wells, my child. They've been dry for so long, they've forgotten how to hold water." School became Ella's refuge. Her teachers noticed her declining condition. Her uniform was always dirty. She was losing weight, and she often fell asleep in class from exhaustion. But despite her circumstances, she never lost her kindness or her brilliant mind. "Ella, have you eaten today?" her teacher, Mrs. Nkechi, asked. "Yes, ma," Ella lied, not wanting to burden anyone with her problems. But Mrs. Nkechi wasn't fooled. She began keeping extra food in her desk drawer just for Ella. "You know, I always pack so much lunch. Will you help me finish it?" Ella smiled gratefully. "Thank you, ma. You are very kind." This continued for months, until one fateful day, when Precious, Adebayo's younger sister, returned from her nursing job in Abuja. Precious was everything Adebayo wasn't: compassionate, reasonable, and blessed with common sense. She had always been the voice of reason in their family, the one who could talk sense into even the most stubborn relative. One afternoon, Precious walked through the streets looking for her brother's house. She spotted a familiar figure sitting under a tree. The child was so thin and disheveled that Precious almost didn't recognize her. "Ella? Ella, is that you, my dear?" Ella looked up with tired eyes. "Auntie Precious, you came back!" Precious was horrified by what she saw. Ella's once bright eyes were dull with hunger and sadness. Her clothes were tattered, her hair unkempt, and she looked like she hadn't had a proper meal in weeks. "My God, what has happened to you, my baby?" Precious exclaimed. "Papa says I killed Mama," Ella whispered. "He says I'm bad luck." Precious felt her blood pressure rising. "That brother of mine has finally lost his remaining sense. Come, let's get you to my house and get you cleaned up." At Precious's house, Precious drew her a warm bath and prepared a feast fit for a king. Ella ate like she hadn't seen food in days. Precious listened to her story with growing anger. "So he's been treating you like this for months, Precious asked. "It's okay, auntie. I'm used to it now." "Used to it? A child should never get used to such treatments. Your father has clearly used his brain to play Ludo, and now I'm going to reset it for him." The next morning, Precious marched to Adebayo's house like a woman on a mission. She found him sitting on his veranda, looking quite comfortable, while his daughter was suffering. "Adebayo!" she called out. "Come out here this instant!" Adebayo looked up nervously. His sister had always been able to intimidate him, even when they were children. "Precious, when did you arrive?" That's not important. What is important is that you have completely lost your mind. How dare you treat this innocent child like she's some sort of disease? You don't understand, Adebayo began. But Precious cut him off. Don't understand. The only thing I don't understand is how we came from the same womb. Maybe we should have a DNA test done. You are blaming a child for your wife's death. A child who loves her mother. She's bad luck. She brought bad luck to our house. The only bad luck in your house is your attitude. You lost your job because the factory modernized, not because of a baby. Your wife died because you refused to take care of her when she was sick, not because of your daughter. You are the problem, not that Precious child. Adebayo tried to defend himself, but Precious was just getting started. Let me tell you something. You have exactly 24 hours to bring that child home, feed her properly, and start treating her like a daughter she is. If you don't, I'm calling the police, I'm calling the family elders and everyone in this community to tell them what kind of a father you are. You can't threaten me, Adebayo retorted. Try me. I've dealt with more stubborn men than you in my nursing career. You think you are tough? Don't test me, Adebayo. Fear of the police finally penetrated Adebayo's thick skull. The next day, he went to Precious's house to pick up Ella. Ella looked at Precious with pleading eyes. Auntie, do I have to go? Precious hugged Ella. Yes, my dear, you have to. But remember, if he doesn't treat you well, come straight to me. I'll be watching him like a hawk watches a mouse. When they reached home, Ella discovered that her father remarried. His new wife, Folake, was a woman who had perfected the act of fake smiles and backhanded compliments. So, this is the Ella, she said, looking Ella up and down. You are much smaller than I expected. Are you sure you are 10 or are you 7? I'm 10, ma, Ella replied. Well, I suppose malnutrition can stunt growth. Don't worry, we will feed you, at least occasionally. Adebayo, still smarting from Precious's threats, made sure Ella was fed and sent to school. But the treatment at home was far from loving. Ella was given the hardest chores, the smallest portions of food, and was made to sleep on a tea mat in a corner of the living room. Why is she sleeping in the living room? Precious asked when she came to check up on them. The beds are full, Folake answered. We are planning to get her a proper bed someday. Someday better come quickly, Precious warned, or I'll provide her a bed myself right after I provide you a new address by Kirikiri Estates. Despite the harsh treatments, Ella continued to excel in school. Her teachers were amazed by her resilience and intelligence. She arrived school early to help clean the classrooms, stay late to help younger students with their own work, and always had a kind word. Meanwhile, Folake developed a particular talent of making Ella's life miserable while maintaining possible deniability. Ella, you've been eating too much rice, she said. At this rate, we will run out of food before the month's end. But I only had a small portion, ma. Small? That looked like a mountain to me. Maybe you need glasses. Or maybe you need to learn portion control. When Precious visited, Folake would suddenly become the most caring stepmother in the world. Ella, darling, have you finished your homework? Would you like some more soup? But as soon as Precious left, the marks would come off easily. Don't think I don't know what you're doing, little girl. You're trying to make me look bad in front of your aunt. I'm not trying to do anything, ma. I just want to be a good daughter. Good daughter, Bawu. You are not even my daughter. You are just a burden I have to carry because your father is too weak to get rid of you. These words cut Ella deep, but she had learned to internalize her pain. She wrote in her diary, Dear Mama, I hope you are watching over me. I'm trying to be strong like you taught me, but sometimes it's very hard. I miss you so much. 5 years passed in this manner. Ella, now 15, had grown into a remarkably mature young woman. She had learned to anticipate her stepmother's moods and avoid her father's anger, and find joy in small things. a good grade on a test, or a kind word from a teacher. Precious was selected for a nursing program in Italy, a chance to build a better life for herself. I'm going to miss you so much, Auntie, Ella said when Precious told her about the opportunity. Don't worry, my dear. I will work hard and save money so I can bring you over to Italy. You deserve a good chance at life. Really? You will do that for me? Of course. You are my daughter in every way. Precious left for Italy with a heavy heart. She worked very hard, worked multiple jobs, and saved every penny towards Ella's coming. After 2 years of hard work, Precious finally saved enough money to bring Ella over. She sent the money to Adebayo with clear instructions. This money is specifically for Ella's travel documents and tickets. Use it only for her journey to Italy. But Adebayo had apparently learned nothing from his past mistakes. He saw the money as an opportunity for himself instead of using it for Ella's travel. He quietly made arrangements for his own journey to Italy. I will go first, he said to Folake. I will establish myself there, then send money for you and the children. What about Ella? Folake asked. What about her? She is not my concern anymore. Once I'm in Italy, I'll be free of her bad luck forever. Adebayo's plan was to travel overland through Libya, the dangerous route that many desperate migrants attempted. He convinced himself that he was brave and clever enough to make the journey successfully. When Ella learned about her father's plan, she was devastated. She ran to her room where she kept her diary and wrote through tears. Dear Mama, Papa is going to Italy without me. Auntie Precious sent money for me to come, but Papa is using it for himself. I don't understand why he hates me so much. What did I do wrong? Why can't he love me even a little bit? The news of Adebayo's betrayal reached Precious in Italy, and she was furious. She called him immediately. How dare you betray your own daughter like this? That money was for Ella and not for you. I need to establish myself first, Adebayo replied defensively. Once I'm there, I will send for her. You are lying, and we both know it. You have no intentions of helping that child. You are selfish and cruel, and I'm always ashamed to call you my brother. I will work in Libya, save the money and cross over to Italy. You will see that I can take care of myself. Listen to me carefully, Adebayo. When you reach Libya, and I pray you do so safely, don't you dare contact me for help. You've made your choices, and now you will live with the consequences. Precious contacted her best friend Ngozi, who lived in Lagos, and arranged for Ella to be brought to Italy through proper legal channels. I'm going to get you out of there, my dear, Precious told Ella over the phone. Your father may have failed you, but I won't. The process of getting Ella's visa travel documents took several months, but finally, the day arrived and Ella was going to Italy legally and safely. On the morning of her departure, Ella visited her mother's grave one last time. Mama, I'm going to Italy today, Ella whispered. Auntie Precious is giving me the chance you always wanted me to have. I'll make you proud, I promise. Ella could swear she heard her mother's voice saying, You already made me proud, my darling. The journey to Italy was like a dream for Ella. She had never been on an airplane before, and everything amazed her. The clouds below, the kindness of the flight attendants, and the promise of a new beginning. When she reached Rome's airport, Precious was waiting. Welcome to your new life, my beautiful daughter, she said, embracing Ella tightly. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you for not giving up on me. Never thank me for doing what should have been done long ago. You deserve all the love and opportunities in the world. Italy was a revelation for Ella. Under Precious's loving care, she began to blossom like a flower that had finally found the right soil. She learned Italian with remarkable speed, excelled in her studies, and slowly began to heal from the emotional wounds of her childhood. You are like a completely different person, Precious observed as she watched Ella one day. I'm not different, Auntie. I'm just finally free to be myself. The trek through the Sahara Desert was more brutal than Adebayo had imagined. The heat was unbearable, water was scarce, and the smugglers who promised to guide him were more interested in his money than his safety. By the time he reached the Libyan coast, he was exhausted, dehydrated, and beginning to regret his decision. But his pride prevented him from contacting Precious for help. Instead, he joined a group of migrants preparing to cross the Mediterranean in a dangerously overcrowded boat. "Are you sure this boat is safe?" he asked the smuggler. "Safe? Nothing about this journey is safe, my brother." Still, Adebayo boarded the boat. Adebayo and dozens other desperate passengers encountered a violent storm. The vessel, never meant to carry so many people, began taking on water. The boat capsized and all on board died. When the news of boat capsizing reached the authorities, Precious was notified of her brother's death. She sat Ella down gently and broke the news. "I'm sorry, my dear. Your father's boat sank during his crossing. He didn't survive." Ella was quiet for a long moment, processing the news. Then, surprising both herself and Precious, she began to cry. "I'm sad that he died, Auntie, but I'm also sad that he never got to know who I really am. He missed out on so much love." "Yes, he did, but that was his choice, not yours. He could have reached out to me for help when he reached Libya, but his pride overtook him. You are not responsible for his decisions, my dear." As the years passed, Ella grew into a compassionate and successful young woman. She became fluent in Italian, English, and French, and pursued a degree in international relations. Her professors were impressed by her maturity, intelligence, and unusual ability to understand complex global issues. When Ella started working as a translator for an international aid organization, she began earning a steady income. She made the decision that shocked everyone who knew her story. "I want to send money to help Folake and my half-siblings," she told Precious. Precious nearly choked on her coffee. "Are you serious? After everything she did to you?" "I'm serious, ma. They are struggling now that Papa is gone, and my half-siblings are innocent in all of this. Besides, someone has to break the cycle of hatred." "But Ella, she treated you terribly." "I know, but I'm not doing this for her. I'm doing it for the children and for my own peace of mind. I refuse to let bitterness poison my heart the way it poisoned Papa's." When Folake received the first money transfer from Italy, she couldn't believe her eyes. The girl she had treated like a servant was now sending money to help her and the children. She immediately called the number Ella provided. Her voice was shaking with emotions. Ella, is that really you?" "Yes, ma. How are you and the children?" We are struggling, no, since your father died. But I don't understand. Why are you helping us after everything I did to you?" "Because someone has to choose love over hatred, ma. I choose to remember that you are the mother of my siblings and they need care." Folake began to cry. "I was cruel to you. I was blinded by jealousy and your father's bitterness. I'm so sorry, Ella. I'm so very sorry." "I forgive you, ma. Use the money to take care of the children and make sure they get a good education. That's all I ask." Even from that day forward, Folake became Ella's most ardent supporter. She would tell everyone and anyone who would dare listen about the young lady who had chosen forgiveness over revenge, love over hatred. "That's my daughter. She has a heart of gold," she would say. "She's showing us what true Christianity looks like." As Ella's reputation grew, both in Italy and Nigeria, she decided to establish a foundation to help orphaned and abandoned children. She called it Peace's Light Foundation in honor of her mother. "Every child deserves to be loved and given a chance to succeed," she said at the foundation's launch. "No child should ever be made to feel like they are a burden or a mistake." The foundation grew rapidly, helping hundreds of children across Nigeria and Italy. Ella often visited the children personally, sharing her own story and encouraging them to never give up on their dreams. But perhaps her greatest achievement is the family she has built around her, not through blood, but through love. Personally, I have learned a lot from Ella's story. Here are some of the lessons I learned. We can control how we respond to situations. She chose love over hatred, forgiveness over revenge, and hope over despair. In a world that often seems determined to bring out the worst in us, choosing to be better is perhaps the most radical act of all. Adebayo's tragic fall was his inability to take responsibility for his own life. By constantly blaming others, first was his daughter, then circumstances, then fate. He robbed himself of the power to change his situation. The lesson is as clear as water. When we blame others for our problems, we give away our power to solve them. Family is not just about blood relations. Precious became more of a father to Ella than Adebayo was ever. The teachers who cared for her, the neighbors who fed her, and the friends who supported her all become part of her chosen family. Love, not genetics, create the bonds that truly matter. Perhaps the most powerful message in this story is that cycles of abuse, hatred, bitterness can be broken by one person's decisions to choose differently. Ella's kindness to her stepmother and half-siblings show that love is stronger than hatred and forgiveness is more powerful than revenge. Precious represents the crucial role that advocates play in vulnerable people's lives. Sometimes, all it takes is one person who believes in us, supports us, and refuses to let us be forgotten. We all have the power to be someone's precious. Please subscribe, like, share and comment your thoughts on this story. Till I bring you another educational and interesting story, God bless you.